Hola y buenos días. Yo soy el señor Morris. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Today we're going to go over what we did in our last class. Going to introduce some new services that you probably have in your community. If we have time, we might try some TPR, and we're going to try to play a card game to help you practice what you've been studying. But let's begin, as we always do, with our canción de saludos. Canten conmigo. Hola, hola, buenos días, bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Todos juntos ya estamos listos para aprender. Muy bien cantado. You're doing a good job of singing. There you go. Now, who among you remembers what we were talking about during our last class? Do you remember? I think some of you probably got it. The services in the community, or en español, servicios comunitarios. Now, those words are cognates, so it makes it pretty easy to remember and certainly to recognize them. But I tell you what, let's go ahead and start by looking at the services that we talked about during our last lesson. The first one, again, it's a cognate, so it should be relatively easy for you to recognize and maybe even remember. The place, there's the woman in the smock. Yeah, she's standing in front of the building with a big red X on the front. Does anybody remember? If you do, go ahead and tell your teacher before I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Es el hospital. El hospital. You should have this in your notes already. You should also have this place. Aha. Here is, it says policía up there. So you probably know what this is. And the building itself, or this place, is called 1, 2, 3, la jefatura de policía. Repitan todos. La jefatura de policía. The next place we talked about was this one. Oh, okay. You remember what it is in English, right? That's right. It's the post office. Well, we said that we talked about the word office in Unit 1, and we said that letters, that comes up on our alphabet video, correos. So, everybody tell your teacher if you know what it is by the time I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. La oficina de correos. Repitan todos. La oficina de correos. How about this one? Big building, American flag, truck with a ladder, a man in his slicker, black and white dog. And we said it's a station, so that is a cognate. Do you remember what the people who work there are called? If you do, you'll be able to get this one before I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. La estación de bomberos. The station, la estación de bomberos. Okay. Now, we talked about one more last lesson, and that's this place. And this is a department that keeps our community sanitary or clean. That's right. That's a couple of clues for you to remember this one. See if you can tell your teacher before I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. El Departamento de Sanidad. El Departamento de Sanidad. All right. But you know what? These aren't the only services that you have in your community, I bet. Can you think of any others? Anything that the people who live where you live can take advantage of to go and use the services from them? Can you think of some and tell them to your teacher now? Well, Here are some that I thought of. The first one is this place. Oh, and it says right up here what it is. And this is also something that we talked about in Unit 1, so this should be very easy for you. Es el banco. Repitan todos. El banco. You might want to make a note of this to keep it in your notebooks, okay? Es el banco. Es un servicio comunitario. Another one that you might find where you live are these. Remember we talked about tiendas, trabaja en una tienda? Well, when we talk about the different stores in an area, we call them, in English we call them what? Businesses? Pues en español son los negocios. Repitan todos. Los negocios. Go ahead and jot this down to keep it in your notebook so that you can refer to it. And while you're writing that down, I'm going to tell you, negocios looks kind of like the word negotiate. Have you ever heard of negotiate or talk about something to make some sort of interchange? So, los negocios are the businesses in the community where you live. Here's one that I bet everybody knows they have in their community. Yeah, look, they've got the bell up there, the American flag. This is a little schoolhouse. And from Unit 1, you should remember what this one's called. Remember, trabaja en, I'll give you till 3. 1, 2, 3. La escuela. La escuela. And ignore that E because that should be la escuela. Another place in your community is a place where you might go and get some books. You can go and borrow books or magazines. Sometimes you can borrow videos from this place too. It's a great place to learn and to spend some time. And it is called la biblioteca. What would this be in English? La biblioteca. The library. That's right. So you can go to the library. That's another service in your community. Well, I tell you what, you've gotten quite a few of these down, and some of them are pretty easy to remember. Others are a little bit more difficult. So let's go ahead and look at what some of these are called. Do you remember this one? A woman in the smock. Got a red cross on the front of the building here. It's a cognate. By the time I count to 3, see if you can tell your teacher. 1, 2, 3. El hospital. Repitan todos. El hospital. How about this one? We talked about this in Unit 1. It's pretty much written up there. I think everybody should be able to get this by the time I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. El banco. Repitan todos. El banco. Well, how about this one? We see that up there. Is this la estación de bomberos or is this la jefatura de policía? ¿Es la estación de bomberos o es la jefatura de policía? Tell your teacher before I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Es la jefatura de policía. How about this one? Here's the person. They've got the bag with all the letters in there. Okay. You remember from our alphabet that letters are called correo. That's right. And this is an office. That's your hint. See if you can tell your teacher by the time I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. La oficina de correos. How about this one? Remember now, this one is a department. A department where they keep things sanitary. See if you can tell your teacher by the time I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. El Departamento de Sanidad. Repitan. El Departamento de Sanidad. And one of them that we learned today is this one where you can get books or magazines. Hopefully you've got this right there in your notes. 1, 2, 3. La biblioteca. La biblioteca. Muy bien. Well, you guys are doing a great job with your brains. There's another way that you can respond, and that's by using your body. Now, we did before the TPR, the total physical response, where you listen and watch and do what I'm doing with the students. Well, they came in the other day and helped me do some more TPR, and I'd like for you to follow along with us right now as we do TPR. Ahora, presten atención todos. All right, let's go ahead and review the things that we started during our last TPR lesson. You guys ready for this? Okay. Let's review. Follow along with us here. Párense. Oh, yeah, that's pretty easy. We remember that. Siéntense. Párense. Okay. Siéntense. You guys seem to remember that pretty well. Párense. Yeah, okay. Siéntense. Joseph saying, oh, is he going to say párense again? Yes, I am. Okay. We also did this one. Right? Caminen. Uy, espérense. Caminen. Ay, espérense. Remember this one? Voltéense. 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 Caminen. Espérense. Voltéense. Siéntense. Párense. Oh, good. Siéntense. Párense. Okay. See if you guys can do this. Caminen. Espérense. Voltéense. Okay. Voltéense. Voltéense. Okay. Caminen y siéntense. Caminen y siéntense. Oh, good. Good. See, I'm telling you to do 2 things now, and you guys can follow along. Okay. Párense. Now, here's a new one, okay? You ready for this? Brinquen. Basta. Okay. Brinquen. Hey, basta. Okay. Siéntense. Párense. Joseph, you caught me on that one. Okay. Voltéense. Voltéense. Okay. Voltéense. Voltéense. Okay. Now, siéntense. Now we're going to try something kind of new, putting some things together. So, párense. Let's see if you guys remember this. Brinquen. Okay. Ya, espérense, basta. Voltéense. Voltéense. Okay, now, escuchen. Okay. Brinquen y voltéense. Brinquen y voltéense. Ay, sí. Ay, ya, espérense. Uy. Siéntense. You're going to get all dizzy. Párense. You didn't think I'd let you sit down very long, did you? Okay. Caminen. Espérense. Voltéense. Caminen y siéntense. How you guys doing on this? You clear on all of this? Are you guys clear? Good, because we're going to try this some more again later. Muy bien. You all seem to be doing very well. I'm very pleased with how you're doing. Let's go ahead and review what we've been talking about with the activity sheet titled Mi Comunidad. It looks like this. Mi comunidad, go ahead and start by writing your name at the top of the paper. Voy a escribir mi nombre. Roberto. Okay. Now the instructions on this one say, what are the names of these places in the community? Use the key to help you find the names, and then write the letter of the name in the box. This first place here. Okay, the name is written right there. That should make it pretty easy. Let's look down at the bottom of the page at the key and see if we can find the name of that first place in the community. Does anybody see it? Do you see it? Do you remember what it's called? Okay, depending on what you do in your class, you can either raise your hand and tell your teacher, or just go ahead and say it, however your teacher likes you to do things. Who said el banco? If you said el banco, you are right. El banco is letter E. I'm going to mark through that because I'm using it. And up here at the top of the page, underneath the picture of el banco, I'm going to write the letter E. La E in español. Now go ahead and finish that up whenever your teacher tells you to, and you can use that to review. Another thing that we've included for today's activities are some cards, or juegos de cartas. Juego de cartas, or card game. And you'll find a number of cards here. You can put them onto stiff paper, glue them onto stiff paper, and then cut them out. And you'll notice that each set has 3 cards. One with just the word, one that has the word and the picture, and one that has just the picture. Now you can practice learning that what these two are by using this in the middle. Try to start off by getting your 3 in a row, and then see if you can match them. See if you can match them, and to check your answer, you can use the middle card to check your answers. So now you have the cards, okay? You can use them in 3s to play fish, or to play other games that you invent, or you can take out the middle card from each set, or one of the end cards if you'd like, and play a game like concentration. In other words, you'll get 2 from each set, mix them up and turn them face down, and then try to turn them over and see if you can find pairs that way. Go ahead and invent some games. Whatever you want to do is, and you enjoy, is fine. It'll just give you a chance to go over these again, you know, in maybe a more palatable manner, hopefully something that you'll enjoy. Well, we've covered a lot of things today for you to keep practicing, pero saben que ya es hora de despedirnos, okay? For our canción hoy, para la canción hoy, vamos a cantar la cucaracha. You may have heard this one before too. It's in the teacher's guide and in the student resource notebook. Todas las muchachas tienen en los ojos 2 estrellas, pero las mexicanitas de seguro son más bellas. La cucaracha, ya no quiere caminar, porque no tiene, porque le falta dinero para gastar. Muy bien. Until we see each other next time, adiós y nos vemos.